Thank you, Minister and officials, for the work you do for our country. Minister, is China your government's new strategic ally, or is China, as Canadian security agencies have repeatedly stated, the most sophisticated and active state cybersecurity threat to Canada today? It cannot be both, sir.
I believe the Prime Minister has said that we want to meet our trading partners where they're at, not where we would want them to be. With respect to the work of the Prime Minister, as you're aware, we're facing significant difficulties with our closest and best trading partner, the United States. We have embarked on an international effort to expand trade relations, including with China. And I would suggest that the work that the Prime Minister has done, including his upcoming visit to India, Australia, and Japan, is part of this broader narrative to expand our trade by 50% over the coming years, one that will ensure that our both economic security and jobs will be protected in Canada while we're going through some trade difficulties with our southern border.
Well, first of all, that makes no sense because we're talking about jobs being skipped over here in Canada for a Chinese hybrid shipyard. But, Minister, it sounds like you're saying, and again, I believe in being clear-eyed about these things, it sounds like you're saying national security interests should be subordinate to trade interests. Is that the case?
I believe you can do both. And what we've undertaken with China, and I can ask my officials to expand, is that we do have an agreement that speaks to issues around safety and security. We have an MOU that was signed, as you're aware, when the Prime Minister was in China last month. However, we're also working towards greater economic engagement. Similarly, we're doing that with India and many other countries. So we are, I believe that we are able to do both.
Minister,
and in fact, the moment calls us for us to do both.
You did mention officials, and I will say, in this unclassified document that this committee has received from Transport Canada, officials have said, Transport Canada warned of media reports of surveillance technology embedded in equipment, ports, cranes, and drones, raising concerns about hidden sensors and data harvesting technologies in foreign manufactured transportation assets. Given this, what specific national security assessment has public safety conducted to rule out embedded surveillance hardware or software in these ferries being built in China?
So as I indicated in my opening remarks, that there was no security assessment. This was outside of the scope of the work that our national security apparatus do. This was a procurement that was undertaken by BC Ferries in the province of British Columbia. And it is very much outside the scope of the work that we undertake.
Well, Minister, I got to say, the fact that no security review has been done is unfathomable to me. Transport Canada states plainly that Canada does not have comprehensive legislation to manage the risks identified on this file, and that existing oversight focuses only on performance and safety rather than mitigation of national security concerns. Example given, unauthorized data access or surveillance. Why would public safety permit foreign-built ferries to be imported before the government closes this legislative gap? What do you have to say, sir?
Mr. Alves, I don't want to demean your understanding of Canadian federalism, but let me take this moment to say that we are the federal government. This particular procurement was undertaken by the province, as you're aware, province of British Columbia. They have every authority to do that. They have their own laws and guidelines that they follow, and it is very much in that vein that this particular procurement was undertaken. So it does.
Security review by Public Safety Canada. Transport Canada says that we have legislative gaps that do not cover this kind of stuff. Minister, Transport Canada also warns that vessels built in China will have access to Canadian waterways and could gather information related to critical underwater infrastructure, as well as critical North American supply routes. Minister, what is public safety's threat assessment regarding foreign-built ferries mapping, scanning, or otherwise collecting intelligence on underwater cables or other important data infrastructure?
What I can say is that every vehicle, every vessel that comes here will have to meet Canadian standards.
But there's no review. You've said there's no review, sir.
Well, there's two different things, right?
There's a safety review by Transport Canada.
One are the safety, the safeguards that are in place, and in this particular case, the BC government procured these vessels.
So the BC government has the right to put our national security and the Canadians' own national security at risk. Is that what you're saying, sir?
What I'm saying is that they have the prerogative to undertake.
They have the prerogative.
They have the prerogative to undertake procurement according to their laws, according to their rules, and in this case, that is exactly what has happened. But what I can say is that vehicles, whether it be EV vehicles or those vessels that are being procured, still need to be in line with Canadian standards.
Mr. Chair, I'm just going to take really a quick second here. So these vessels effectively have a 25% tariff. Your department is, CBSA, is I should say, the agency is supposed to collect those tariffs unless there's a remission order. Does the government plan on giving these foreign-built vessels a pass and effectively not just locking out Canadian workers, but actually making them cheaper for BC Ferries to bring in at the expense of our industries? What is your answer, sir?
Well, as you're aware, CBSA is an independent agency. They're not represented here in the panel today. If you would like further information, I would be more than glad to get that for you.
Thank you very much.